Welcome to the Moto Circuit at Jerez for the grand finale of the BiS Formula 3 Championship. This is the track where Canadian legend Jacques Villeneuve clinched his Formula 1 world title and where Michael Schumacher tried everything to stop him. Tonight, the BiS Formula 3 grid takes on the same iconic circuit, but with a twist. The chicane before the final corner is gone, opening up another huge overtaking zone right at the end of the lap. Clay Morris may have a big lead, but the spotlight is on Ozzy Milwane. Can he deliver the performance he needs to keep the title fight alive? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome to Pit Road Productions. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth today is the one and only Reese, the Southpaw Racer Gardner, with Christian Hill there at the controls. Good evening, Reese. How are you, sir?
Yeah, doing all right. Woke up a short while ago and suddenly realized, hey, it's BiS F3 finale day. And yeah, we've got a championship to work out. I'm really looking forward to this one. Jerez has been on my cards, on my calendar for quite some time. It'll be interesting to see if Clay Morris can end up taking the title when he dominated the first half of the season.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a quick look at the schedule as well, sir. Reese, do the honours, sir.
Absolutely. With, well, Mosport, Thruxton, it was a complete Morris wash, basically, winning both sprints and the feature at both rounds, and then winning both sprints at Imola, but then Jamie LeVay chipped in with a win in the feature. Then at Bathurst, it was three different winners from three races. We had Milwane, Morris, and Buchanan winning there, and then LeVay winning two of the races at Spa, with Milwane slipping in the middle. And here we are at the final round at Jerez to decide who ultimately is going to take this title. We will have to wait and see on that one, but for now, let's take a look at the track itself, what we're going to be racing at tonight. Welcome to Circuito de Jerez, a tight technical circuit here in southern Spain, famous for producing high drama. That is not Jerez, that is Spa that's on screen at the moment. We will have to fix that one up, but I'll continue with my blurb. The lap begins as we charge down the main straight toward turn 1, a tight uphill right-hander. It's all about confidence on the brakes, but it quickly tightens through turn 2, bunching the field together on lap 1. Then we flow left and right through turns 3 and 4, threading the car through this technical opening sector before arriving at turn 5, Cito Pons corner, one of the best overtaking spots on the lap, hard braking, plenty of commitment, and an easy place to run wide if you're not careful. I do believe that is in fact talking about the dry sack hairpin at turn 6. From there, the drivers sweep through the middle section at 7 and 8 medium speed corners where rhythm is everything. You got to link them perfectly to keep momentum alive. Then it's into Curva Peluki in the braking zone for turn 9, a tight hairpin that leads on the crucial back stretch. This is where drivers start lining out their moves for the run to the finish. And here's the twist for tonight's race. There's no chicane on the approach to the final corner. That means they're flat out all the way to Curva Lorenzo, a classic late braking left-hander that's seen plenty of last lap lunges over the years. Jerez may be short, but it's relentless, technical, flowing, and always demanding precision. It's a real driver's circuit, and with the championship on the line, every corner is going to count, Zippy. Let's see how they are coming into this race.
Oh, absolutely, Reese. And I will say a fantastic catch there. Jerez, definitely not one of the tracks that I'm familiar with. Spa, on the other hand, very much so. Let's take a quick look here at the championship standings, and as you can see, fantastic stuff. Clay Morris is out there ahead, but not by, well, actually by quite a lot there. He's got an absolutely monster of a lead, at least from what I can see, ladies and gentlemen. Ozzy Milwane in second, Jamie LeVay there in third. The young driver, Assad Nakardon-Bev, he's been driving a real spec race of Ford recently. He's there in fourth with the league organizer, Mr. Mike Broomhead, closing out your top 5. Some good battles further back through the grid, though. It looks like the Lima Racing guys maybe having a little bit of banter between themselves as well. Closest battle looks to be between Broomhead and Scarali. That's just about seven points in it. Let's have a look at the second page as well. We've got a couple of drivers here. A couple of drivers missing as well. Eric Fenson, where are you, my friend? Certainly Reese is your #1 fan. Here we go. Clovis Gerard, he's not here tonight either. Hopefully he's doing all right as well. Mark McDonald, I believe he's had a very fun couple of experiences recently as well. Cairo ends, one of the newcomers here to BIS. It's good to see he's here. He's going to be currently looking like he's 7th in practice, so good stuff there. Some battles happening throughout. Let's have a look at the teams championship, ladies and gentlemen, and see how it's working out in that kind of point of view. You can see there, wow, Clay Morris for Radical Britannia iRacing. He's doing fantastically there with 940 points. Doppler Britannia iSports is there in second. Only 1 point ahead. Doesn't get any closer than that, ladies and gentlemen, with MTC Motorsports there in third. Having a look further down, I say it or it's going to happen again. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sarna Carnbev Racing and Lima Racing is 1 point between and fighting there for P5 as well.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. We're going to be going once again for our 3-race format. The drivers are currently in qualifying at the moment. We have 2 sprint races and then a warm-up, then a feature race of about 25 minutes. And the top 10 will be inverted for the grid of the feature race. We've got a standing start, 1 fast repair per race, no full course yellows, and it's fuel limited in the feature. We've got to remember, Zippy, the incident limit as well. 15 incidents to a penalty and 30 to a DQ. Jerez is very easy to get off tracks around, so they've got to be careful not to rack up too many of those incidents in the race.
Yeah, definitely. Myself, I tend to treat them like Skittles, and I want to taste the rainbow, ladies and gentlemen. That's generally how it goes for off tracks for me. Let's take a bit of a quick look, see what else we've got going on here. Certainly strategy is going to play in mind as well, especially during that feature race.
Absolutely. It looks like we do have the grid ready. Qualifying is over, and so we can go through who's going to start where for the first race of the final round here. Aussie Mill Wayne has gotten pole position, and Michael Broomhead lines up P2. Interesting front row there, with Tyler Scaralli and Zach Buchanan 3rd and 4th. We have Clay Morris, the championship leader, starting out of 5th, only 35 points in it between himself and Aussie Mill Wayne, with Asad Nakadabev starting alongside him there. In 7th place, Cairo ends a respectable qualifying performance with Cedric O'Hyan then alongside him for Lima Racing. Richard Swindells starts alongside Nicholas Collender to round out the top 10. Then we have John Benbilid starting 11th alongside Robert Ridgway, and Graham Lobban is the last car on our 13-car grid. Remember, it's 40 points for a win in these sprints and 80 points for a win in the feature. So considering that 35-point gap between our championship top 2, Clay Morris cannot afford to rest on his laurels at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I do know you are a master when it comes to working out the points. And here you see actually quite a cool track today. I'd expect it to be a little bit warmer. 22 degrees, ladies and gentlemen. Ambient temperature 24 for the track temp itself. A little bit cloudy with 100 km/h northeasterly wind. 81% humidity there. That just sounded a little bit sticky.
Just a little bit. This is southern Spain where they produce sherry. The revs are rising, and we're getting ready to line things up for the start here. We are away for the first race of the final round, and Aussie Mill Wayne gets a great start already on the way up into turn 1. Trying up the inside as Zach Buchanan makes contact with Tyler Scaralli and sends him wide there in turn 1. Scaralli will move back to 4th, but it's a clear run for Mill Wayne up the front. How about Clay Morris? I mean, he's struggling to find his way past here. He's got drivers battling ahead of him, and he's not going to have many opportunities to set up a move until they get onto the back straight.
Yeah, certainly it's definitely my first time here at Jerez, and you can already see there that Clay Morris very much trying to get into a fight there with Nick Ardenberg, definitely applying a good bit of pressure. But right now, Robert Ridgway, the hard charge on the grid, he's up 2 positions into P10.
Yep, doing all right at the moment is Robert Ridgway, as there's the defense from the driver of Asad Nakadambev, trying to keep Clay Morris behind him. And it looks like Scaralli is starting to jet away from them. On board with Scaralli now as we see Broomhead and Buchanan start to jet away from him and catch up to Mill Wayne, and that's Cairo ends off in the middle sector.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate for Cairo. He is a very potent driver when he gets up to speed. Sometimes having a little bit of Needs a little bit of a reminder there about cold tyres, but don't get me wrong, an invert grid could be beneficial later on. He's still got a bit of work to do so far though. P13 is not one of the hot seats, ladies and gentlemen, as right now you can see Ozzy Milwain able to pull away about an 8/10 of a second lead over P2 of Michael Broomhead.
And that was a great move from Assad Nakadambev. He tried to get past Tyler Scarali, but Tyler's going to fight back here, and Clay Morris might get involved. They almost blend into each other on the way down into the first turn, door opening to the inside. And, well, look, if you're in Clay Morris's position, all you got to do is finish the races and you'll likely be okay. But you've got to be careful not to get too close to other competitors who might be a bit of a loose cannon, as Assad Nakadambev seems to be on these opening laps.
Yeah, I got to admit, Assad has always been a spicy driver recently. I've got to say, he's had moments where he's needed a little bit of coaching, a little bit of cooling down, but he is generally improving. I'm damn proud of the kid and what he's achieved so far. He's definitely quicker than me. You see there, Clay Morris making a move there on the outside. But I've got to say, so far, Harref delivering some really good racing action there. Clay Morris is having to work quite hard, and I've got to say, fair play to Nakadambev. He's putting up a fantastic defensive game to the driver, the number 48.
Yeah, Morris can do little but stay behind at the moment. It can be very hard to pass in these sections. You got to wait for the move to present itself. Coming up to the part of the circuit now where they've removed that chicane that was there, and that's Broomhead that's spun around ahead. That's a free position for everyone. And unfortunately, Michael will have to fall all the way to the back there and join ends and trying to make a recovery.
Yeah, I'll have to catch a replay of that in just a second there. I suspect cold tyres may be part of it, as it looks like one of the Lima Racing fellas, John Beverley, looking to try and have a little bit of a battle there with Robert Ridgway. Sorry, my apologies, Richard Swindell, ladies and gentlemen. They're on the same team in my defence. But John Beverley, I've got to say, nothing but love for this man in the purest of ways, ladies and gentlemen, as he tries to make his move on that turn one.
Oh, no.
In contact, he catches the right rear of Richard Swindell. Definitely not what he had in mind. He gets the move done, but poor Swindell's been taken for a little bit of a ride on that one race.
Yeah, Swindell's tried to turn in, but unfortunately for him, Benvelid was already trying to slip up the inside at that point. And once you commit to a corner in these F3 cars, it's very difficult to back out of it. So I'm sure that's at least going to be looked at, but all the same. Oh dear, Graham Lobban, the next driver to come a cropper there, and it looks like he's towed back to the pits. Cairo Enns has too, and Enns has lost his rear end too, so we're going to be seeing quite a few replays, it looks like. This is far from ideal for the two of them, but we'll keep an eye on Assad Nakadambev for the moment, who continues to hold on to that fourth place, is now pressuring Scarali for third.
Yeah, very much so. Let's have a quick check-in as well. Right now, Ozzy Milwain's managed to pull away 2.5 seconds to Zach Buchanan and is currently holding that fastest lap time. I do have to wonder, though, now Buchanan's got a bit of clean air ahead of him. He's got Tyler Scarali just about out from underneath him. He's about 1.2 seconds back, and Scarali's going to have his hands full with not just Nakadambev, but Clay Morris as well. So to go higher, not far from that battle either. I do wonder if Buchanan can find a little bit more pace there. Himself and Ozzy, both previous winners of the BiS Radical Canada Cup, both of these drivers getting a chance there as Clay Morris looks to make a move up on the inside, but nowhere to go. Nakadambev defends the inside.
He certainly does. He's doing a good job of that defending at the moment. We do have those replays just about ready for us, so we can take a look at them in right now, actually. First off, we'll see what happened to Cairo Enns. And this is an unfortunate incident where he just lost the rear end coming into the sweeper, which can be very easy to do. These Formula 3s have to run pretty loose ends to get them to turn in. What about Broomhead? Oh, he had to have a couple of goes at the steering coming into the next corner, and then for some reason the rear end of the car just refused to get settled and he spun around by himself there. So that's not ideal for our series administrator. Once again, for Richard Swindells and John Benvelid. Benvelid trying up the inside, and there was the turn in, but the car was already on the inside, so Swindells went back. And then Graham Lobban, he already had to check up a little bit at turn one for that incident, but he himself has Enns coming up behind him, and I'm not sure what's happened here because, yeah, Enns just goes straight into the corner, almost flat out. I'm wondering if it was a hardware failure or something like that. Either way, both of them are now out.
Yeah, I do have I do have to wonder if that was a hardware issue or maybe just a sheer difference in pace. So I look at the best lap time between them. There's about 1.2 seconds difference, so maybe ends able to get a little bit more pace out there. Maybe took him a bit by surprise. Certainly unfortunate there for both drivers. But let's go back to live pictures, ladies and gentlemen. You can see here.
Enz is back out.
Yeah, he's back out, and I'd say he's probably a lap down from the guys ahead of him. I believe that might be Ridgway, who slotted in ahead of him there. And yeah, that's Ridgway and Colander right ahead. Actually, Nicholas Colander applying a good amount of pressure there to the, getting a little bit of pressure there from number 11 car, Robert Ridgway.
Yeah, good battle between them. I had a look again at the incident between Enz and Lobban, and you're right, from the onboard it does look like Lobban maybe was just lifting off a bit too much compared to everyone else, and that caught Enz by surprise. He was definitely taking that turn at normal pace. There didn't seem to be anything wrong with his car behaviour up until the point of contact. But anyway, we'll keep our eyes peeled for any further moves here. Ridgway trying his best to work his way further up the field. He started in 12th and is now up into 8th. It's been a good run from him so far through the sweeper, the original layout of the circuit. Before that, chicane in the background was introduced, and you can see just how much speed that gains you here. Clay Morris and Assad Nakadenbev side by side through the final corner. A bit of a slipstream was picked up there by the championship leader, and it looks like he'll be putting Nakadenbev on the defensive once again.
I got to admit, that was a great flick over there by our director, Christian Hill. Good job there, CH. But I got to admit, Nakadenbev, usually on the offensive on the driving side, he's had to defend for a good portion of this race, and fair play to him. Clay Morris is definitely no slouch. Is this a different side of Nakadenbev that we're seeing now? Are we maybe seeing some of this real-world experience from the Spec Racer Fords having to kick in? I mean, those cars, they are very much a momentum car, and the draft is a huge part of it. As you can see there, the door very firmly closed. Nakadenbev positioning that car strategically there, trying to hold off Clay Morris, but there is only so much he can do. As you can see there, if we get Assad's head out of the way, you can see Morris trying to go around the outside now, not able to get it done. But look there on the inside, that's set to go higher. The real world Masters, I believe he actually won the Masters in the FEL Championship there. He's currently there applying pressure as well. Clay Morris, potent, but under attack here.
Yeah, looks like Nakadenbev's defense is starting to back them up into everyone behind them, and you see there's a bit of understeer that Nakadenbev is suffering as well. So, oh my God, Morris is off. No, oh yeah, that is a high end. My apologies, I thought that was Morris for a second.
Well, we're definitely going to have to see a replay. My favourite person over at Lima appears to have had a nose job, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think it was the driver. I think it was the car. As you see, Robert Ridgway now applying a good bit of pressure to Clay Morris. The 48 just can't catch a break today. They're right behind him. I believe that's Cairo Eds getting in on the action as well.
Yeah, Colander able to move past Morris in the midst of that incident, whatever happened. I'm sure we'll find out very soon. But now Nakadenbev has a bit more breathing room, and Morris is back down to 6th place, and this is not ideal for his points total. You got to remember that he is 35 points behind, I believe, Aussie Millwane, for 35 points ahead of Aussie Millwane for the championship lead, and that's basically a second place's amount of points. Who's that off there? I'm not entirely sure. It looks like it might have...
Morris.
Oh no, it is Clay Morris. That is our championship leader that's gone into the gravel, and this could put the championship in jeopardy. He did say in the series Discord beforehand he'd only purchased the track a couple of minutes before the session went up, so maybe a lack of track time is hurting him here in the final round.
Yeah, definitely. I even debated seeing if I could get in on the race today. And I do find it kind of ironic that you're there thinking it's Clay Morris who had a bit of an incident. It's almost like the commentator's curse was particularly potent this evening, Reese. And I like Clay Morris, but I'm not going to put this one on you. Let's have a quick look to see exactly what happened here. From the point of view of Cedric O'Hine, we saw him getting into an incident earlier on. He's there, he's hot on the gas. You see Nakadenbev there, and just ends up getting into the back of Morris. So you have to wonder if maybe Morris picked up a little bit of damage there, which then in result is what caused an incident at the same corner, actually, one lap later.
Well, not quite the same corner. It was the corner coming onto the straight. Morris just ran wide coming out of the turn there, picked up the gravel, and it unsettled the car. So, yeah, I get the feeling there might have been a little bit of rear-end damage from Ohioan's contact on the previous lap that ultimately triggered that for Clay Morris. Well, he's jumped into the pits and he's gotten the fast repair. So he's back out there at the moment, but all the way down in 11th now. 11th place in a sprint only gives you 10 points compared to 40 points for the win that Aussie Milwane is currently in at the moment. So that should bring the championship gap down to... I'll have to do some mental maths there, Zippy. That's definitely going to make a difference.
If you put the numbers in our production chat, I can happily do the math for you. But if you want me to read the numbers and do math, maybe not the best thing for me. But what I can tell you, Reese, is that we do have a chain of about 5 or 6 cars here. Starting with Nakano, his defensive game has indeed paid off. But now he's got Nicholas Kolander 7/10 of a second behind him. He's close enough to be in his mirror, but not close enough to be a potent threat. Now the question is, can we see Nakano make a little bit of a runaway? Well, have a look at the lap time. He's just done a 31.7. Colliner a 31.8. Actually, no, they're both just a matching 31.8. So it's only about 0.08 of a second between them now on best lap. Again, both of them just doing that the same lap. Last lap was the best lap. So these two drivers pretty evenly matched. A little bit further back, though, Robert Ridgway just crisping the 132s.
Indeed. Michael Broomhead, meanwhile, making a recovery. He's just past John Benvelid there to get back into 6th place with 2 minutes now remaining on the race timer and 1 more lap to go after this one. So a reasonable recovery from the man who started in 2nd. Unfortunately, coming a cropper. It looks like Clay Morris has run wide again. He hasn't found the wall, but he's definitely having trouble getting around the track. He's all on his own on the circuit at the moment, so not putting anyone else in danger. He'll just be hoping to get to the finish and preserve something from this disastrous first race.
Well, one thing I can tell you, Reese, is while we're taking a look out the back of Michael Broomhead's Formula 3 car, I'm trying to get a really good look here at the front wing of John Benvelid, the number 8 car, and I gotta be honest, it does look like he managed to get away pretty cleanly. I was starting to wonder, like, how is Benvelid so high up? I thought he pit, but no, he's not been in the pits, ladies and gentlemen. That is the OG car. As you see there, that's a bit of a move there. Who's that now? That's Buchanan now. Buchanan, he was up in P2 earlier on. What happened to Buchanan?
Yeah, okay, so there's more, even more that we have to think about for this race here. Zach Buchanan now defending versus John Benvelid for P7, and there's plenty of gravel that's been thrown up at turn 1 from the innumerable incidents that we've seen there. Big slide for Buchanan as well, and he's struggling to keep a hold of the car. Benvelid sweeps back past him, and it looks like Buchanan's been able to recover, but yeah, this is very weird. We've had some top competitors have big trouble here in the final round so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of a different order. You know, don't get me wrong. Aussie Milwane is an absolute beast of a driver. I mean, we all know that. You know, like he's potent. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely potent. I think the only way that he could potentially improve would be just consistency, but that's the same with anybody in a race, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, obviously we have the good days and the bad, but right now he's got almost a 7-second lead there over Scarelli, and I got to say, Scarelli, he's really on form tonight. Don't get me wrong, usually has a driver cam as well, probably one of the nicest urban backdrops that I've ever seen here on a driver cam feed, but he got himself and then Asad Nakano another 3 seconds behind, so the podium all going to plan is pretty much sorted right now. But here we go. This is going to be the final crossing of the line for race 1 here. Aussie Milwane in the number 14 able to take that win.
Certainly. It looks like we went for one less lap than we expected. Nicholas Colander will hold off Robert Ridgway on the run up to the line, and they both finish ahead of Broomhead there. Benvelid and Buchanan are 7th and 8th, and it looks like about a lap ago, Zach Buchanan spun in the final corner, and that is what lost him 2nd place. So, thinking about this now, I'm wondering if that's going to affect drop points for Clay Morris, as well as we see the incident for Buchanan, just loses the rear when he gets on the power. an easy thing to do at a circuit with many sharp corners like this one, but that's what sealed it. So I believe you can't drop points in the final round. I believe that is the ruling there, as we'll go through the results and we can keep our eyes out for the potential points gap change between Milwain and Morris here. So Aussie Milwain finishes by 7 seconds ahead of Tyler Scarali there. Assad Nakadambev completes the podium. Colander and Ridgeway are your top 5, with Broomhead, Benvalid, Buchanan, Swindells and O'Hyan rounding out your top 10. Then we had Clay Morris finishing in 11th, with Cairo Enns finishing a lap down, Graham Lobban retiring. Now it is time for the next race of the night, and well, it's basically the same order that they finished there for race 1. So it looks like we will have to wait and see here and figure out how things are going to go in race number 2. It's basically going to be a repeat of the first one, Zippy. Hopefully we'll see Clay Morris make some kind of recovery and keep this championship fight going.
Absolutely, certainly he's got a lot of work to do. He's back there in P11, and Milwain, I think if he can get a nice clean start, he's potentially going to be able to open up a gap again. I gotta say, I think that might be Nicholas Calander's best actual result here in BiS. P4. That's not easily done, don't get me wrong. You know, BiS is a potent field. We've got a little bit of a smaller grid than we would usually have. Don't get me wrong, it's we're coming to the final round of the season, and not only that, it was more of a summer season as well. Definitely, a lot of these drivers do actually race in real life as well, or if not, they do things like have family vacations, whatever they are. I'll forgive them for it though. Certainly the fall and the winter, we're going to have more series coming as these drivers are indeed getting ready to grid. But keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have the BiS Radical Canada Cup is going to be coming. We're going to have the BiS Formula 1600 Cup Championship as well. And there is going to be a third, maybe even a 4th series coming to BiS. It's all happening behind the scenes right now, ladies and gentlemen. As I am allowed to tell you more, believe me, you'll be the first to know. Even after our producer, I'll tell you guys first. Sorry, Christian, but we're going to be getting ready here for race 2. I got to admit, I think Milwain's in for a good shot here, but I think Morris is going to really have to do a lot of work if he wants to get a hold of this championship.
Yeah, indeed. They're going to have to keep their eyes on stalks around here. So, going to make a correction. I misread the spreadsheet. It's not 35 points in it for the standings. It's in fact 140 points between Milwain and Morris, but we have race 2 ready to go, and we are away. And it's a clean start from basically everybody. Milwain nailing the start. Basically, Milwain would have taken the championship if Morris hadn't shown up. He has eaten a little bit into those standings, but he would need a miracle in these 2 races to take the championship from here. He basically need Morris to retire from both of the remaining races. Clean racing through the first part of this lap. Broomhead trying to make a defense, but oh, there's contact there with, I think it was Buchanan. Yeah, amazing, and oh, that's going to result in a spin for Cairo Enns. Oh dear, everything goes wrong on the first lap for the 332, and he's immediately out. So it looks like we'll say goodbye to Cairo Enns for now.
I got to admit, he is a potent driver, but he has not had the best of luck. I do feel for him. He would definitely, if I had a spare 4-leaf clover, I would indeed put it on his front wing. But you can see here, these drivers already get into a potent battle. Hard charger right now is indeed Cedric O'Hyan, ladies and gentlemen. He's up 4 positions. Graham Lobban, he's up 3. Clay Morris not yet able to capitalize. He's still back there in P11, but the field very much together there. So now with Richard Swindells, I think he did some evasive maneuvers earlier on in this lap. He's about 4-5 seconds behind and growing slightly behind Clay Morris.
Yeah, so let's see if we get any further changes from there. Cairo Enns has not made it back out on the circuit. Graham Lobban's back out there, but Clay Morris is now trying to make the move on Graham Lobban to get back into the top 10, and a crucial one for Morris there. He's going to have some clear air ahead to this pack, who will undoubtedly be slowing each other up through these medium to high speed corners.
Yeah, absolutely. You see here battles happening throughout the field. If I look at my timing screen, ladies and gentlemen, it is lit up with a sea of red, which generally means that they are quite close together. But right now, we've got to admit, Colin, they're doing a very good job. He's car 5 and P5, ladies and gentlemen. He's down one position from the start. He's got Sergio Hyan right behind him, and indeed John Beverly. So he's got 2 Lima racing cars to deal with him right behind. Nicholas Calander's teammate here, Mark McDonald, not present this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sadly, he hasn't managed to make it out. But Colin definitely scoring a couple of points here with this particular broadcaster, rocking them beautiful bronze wheels.
Indeed, you're a big fan of those bronze wheels, Zippy.
Yes.
For the moment, doesn't seem to be granting him much luck here at the final round at Jerez. Black wheels on Richard Swindell's car and, on Robert Ridgway's car as he tries to fight his way through to the podium. Big slide for Zach Buchanan at the back of the pack there, and he's having a bit of a problem here keeping the car stable. There's something interesting that I've noted here. Mil Wayne seems to be the only one who hasn't really made any mistakes, apart from maybe Scarali and Nakadambev as well. Everyone else has had some kind of problem keeping the car straight. See Cairo Ends coming out of the garage there. He's evidently completed the tow and decided he's going to find his way back out onto the circuit again and try and get some points side by side between Nakadambev and Scarali for second, but they work themselves out there, and Broomhead continues to pressure Benvalid for P7. Needs a result here. He did well in qualifying but couldn't quite get it done. Nakadambev has lost second place to Tyler Scarali. Meanwhile, he's going to try and fight back there on the run down to the dry sack hairpin. Ridgway joins them there, and Nakadambev dives up the inside. That's very deep for Scarali to try and keep the position, but Nakadambev moves back through.
See, that looks like Robert Ridgway getting in on the action as well. Scarali down one, and Ridgway looking to try and capitalise on that. He goes to put a nose in, thinks better of it, but Scarali is really going to have to work in the car. His defensive game has been on point today. I've never seen him have to defend so much, ladies and gentlemen. Usually he's there looking to try and get ahead of people. It looks like Mike Broomhead now applying some pressure as well to the back of John Beverly. I think something may have happened. Beverly, he took an off track. He's just dropped down about 3 positions there, taking a sitting group. You see the gravel being kicked up further behind, but thankfully able to keep that car in one piece. Graham Lovin right behind him.
Yes, and I think with the pace difference between these guys, Ben Village shouldn't have to worry too much, as Aussie Mil Wayne gets the fastest lap out front, 131.2. It's a pattern that we've seen pretty much all season. The leader has been able to run away and just continue setting fantastic pace. If you end up in a battle, if you're even within a second of another car somehow, you end up slowing down. At least that's my perception of how the racing in this F3 machine has been going.
Yeah, definitely. I think out of sight, out of mind seems to be a really good strategy here. As you can see there, Nakadambev still on the defensive game. And not only that, he's got Robert Ridgway there in 4th place, looking to try and apply a bit of pressure as well. We do have a field of about 7 cars all here together. One little mistake could cause chaos, but you see here, these guys are starting to catch up. Nakadambev and Scarali going side by side. Ridgway edging ever closer. Not only that, Collander's starting to catch up as well. Hyan's catching up. Broomhead's catching up. Buchanan, he's catching up. They are all coming up behind. The longer these guys fight, the more battles they're going to have happening here at Jerez.
Yes, so Scarali continues his charge to try and take second place here. And we will have yet more to come. 9 minutes to go, and my timing is showing me 6 laps. Nakadambev gets the move up the inside of the hairpin, but that's too much there. Scarali has to open the steering. There might have been a bit of contact there as well. Nakadambev going for those big dives, and I gotta wonder how much the other drivers are going to take of that. It did look quite a dive bombing from Nakadambev there. He's desperate to hold on to this second place.
Yeah, he's definitely fighting as if his life depends on it. Young lad is he's never really been about the long game. I've got to give him that. He's always focused on the short-term race. Maybe an area of improvement, perhaps. Don't get me wrong. He's in second place. What do I know, ladies and gentlemen? I'm just a commentator, at least in this occasion. But right now, he's got a bit of clean air ahead of him. Is this going to be the opportunity that he's been looking for Now the draft is indeed, it has some impact in these Formula 3 cars, but maybe not as potent as some of the other machinery that we've seen here. Certainly the Spec Racer Fords that we see on a Saturday draft is absolutely massive in those. You see there Scarelli coming in quite hard, having to brake a little bit in the mid-corner there. Brake rotor is glowing with sheer friction, ladies and gentlemen, and really compromising his exit speed a little bit there, but able to stay with the number 230 of Nick Ardenbev.
Indeed, there's a big battle going on behind in the area of Clay Morris. He is there with Michael Broomhead and Zach Buchanan, and Buchanan just went side by side with Broomhead a couple of corners ago. That brought Morris right into the fight. They'll keep it flat out through this corner, past the chicane, but Morris runs too wide once again, all the way over the curb. And the battle between Buchanan and Broomhead continues there. Over-under from our series administrator, but he can't quite get the power down straight. And that'll bring Morris right back into the fight. Milwain again brings the fastest lap down as Broomhead gets up the inside of Buchanan into turn 1, but the outside line reigns supreme when you get on the power a little bit earlier. Broomhead sails into the corner, makes contact with Buchanan and sends him off. That is a freebie for Clay Morris.
Yeah, Buchanan there going for a rejoin on the track. Raymond thankfully sees it coming as Richard Swindells will get a front row view. Well, Broomhead manages to hold on, but Clay Morris right behind him. He is indeed going to have his work cut out for him, and certainly, you know, a lot of these drivers have been racing together for quite a sustained period of time. Actually, I'm trying to think, the newest comer, other than Cairo Ends, I'd say, I would guess, would probably be Clay Morris. Looking at the roster, certainly a lot of these guys are BiS originals, ladies and gentlemen, and it's good to have such a great retention rate, ladies and gentlemen, and you only get that from having a great series. A lot of work goes into to making BiS and indeed to making the broadcast as well. Mike Broomhead having a very large part in that. He's indeed the boss man behind Britannia iSports, but right now Clay Morris has managed to sneak ahead and is starting to pull away there. 2 tenths per second, 3 tenths per second. Can we see Broomhead close back in?
Now, that is the question. Broomhead's ultimate pace is a 132.1. I think we have yet to see the true pace from Broomhead here as he goes super deep into the hairpin. He likes taking that sort of late apex line, but I get the feeling he might have been pushing a little bit too close to Clay Morris there. They'll have each other occupied for the next 5.5 minutes. The fight's still going on for second, as well as Broomhead. Again, a little bit wide out of the corners here. That seems like it's really easy to do at this track.
Yeah, for lack of better words, I think Broomhead is absolutely milking the stuffing out of this car, trying to stay with Clay Morris. And fair play to him, you've got to. Clay Morris is a beast behind the machine as well. I mean, the guy's rated for a little bit over 4,500 I rating, so it's fair to say he knows what he's doing. Actually, speaking of I rating, the highest ranked driver we've got in here right now would be the number 11 car of Robert Ridgway, who is just short of 6,000 I rating, ladies and gentlemen. The more value-orientated, you could say, I-rating driver we got on here would be Nicholas Calando, who's currently there in P5 right behind him with 1945. So it just goes to show I-rating, not necessarily a 100% accuracy there for pure talent, depending on the venue.
Speaking of Robert Ridgway, how about the battle he was having with Scarelli just then? Both of them trying to get past Nick Ardenbev, and Scarelli had a red-hot go at it. It brought Ridgway right into the fight, but it seems like every time they get close, Nick Ardenbev finds something better. He's just able to put his car in exactly the right place and keep them behind, increase the gap to them again before they bring it in once more. So there's a lot to think about for the podium battle going forward. We got to think about Colander and Ohio as well, who are starting to show up as within a second of each other and within a second of this battle.
Yeah, certainly Nick Ardenbev's defensive game has been absolutely on point today. I've got to say, Robert Ridgway as well, always having a fun pay. Scarelli, I think this is probably his most potent round as well. He's been getting a couple of podiums here tonight, Reese. I'm hoping he can continue it.
Yeah, I'm certainly hoping too, but if he dips a wheel off into the gravel like he just did, it's not going to happen. Let's see if Robert Ridgway has enough momentum to try and make a pass into the hairpin here. He's not close enough, but Scarelli is incredibly deep on the brakes there, almost getting into the back of Nick Ardenbev. I think that's a big part of where they're making up that time. Nick Ardenbev's getting on the brakes early for the hairpin. It's certainly helping his exits.
Yeah, definitely. Different drivers do indeed have different techniques. Myself, I've always been a slow in, fast out, or at least the intention, and that's how I believe it. Other drivers will push the car quite a lot. I do think with the Formula 3 as well, you almost want to try and force it to understeer a little bit there. If you don't, you're really not making the use of the aero. I mean, this thing has got a good output of aero there, and it does take a... you really have to kind of recalibrate your mind a little bit there just to try and get the most out of the car.
Yeah, these cars are obviously lower level open wheelers, so they have not as much downforce as their Formula 2 and Formula 1 brethren, but you still have to really push the downforce through the corners here, drive it almost like Fernando Alonso did in the early 2000s, and juice that understeer and get on the power hard, let the car rotate and bring itself back round. It's a very interesting driving style that you've got to employ in these cars, and corners like this are where you really see the downforce work. Turn 5 is an incredible piece of racetrack, bringing you onto this back straight. It defines basically the entire lap here. Nakatembev defensive, and Scarali on the racing line gets on the brakes super deep. But again, I've seen him do that over the last few laps in a row. He has the outside line into the hairpin, but he can't maintain the side-by-side. He loses too much momentum getting on the brakes so late.
Mate, while Jerez isn't a track that I've driven, I'm actually really starting to like it. It's producing some really good racing, some really good battles, as well as I believe something may have happened with John Benvelit here. Unfortunate incident there for the Lima racing driver.
Yeah, it looks like a spin at the hairpin for John Benvelit, and unfortunately that was all by himself. Gets on the brakes, turns in, slight little lock up on the way in, and the rear end was gone. He rolls off the racetrack, and well, he almost had a dangerous re-entry there, but he had to wait for the next lot of cars to go by. That puts him back down into 12th.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate. As there goes Robert Whitray, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I say there he goes. Scarali able to hold on. What a defensive move, and the very popular paint job here by Ricky is he's cheering for the number 5 car, Nicholas Calander, right now. He's applying a good amount of pressure as the car back on the defensive. Are we going to see 2 by 2, ladies and gentlemen, as they make their way around the left-hander?
All inside opens into the fast right, and Nakatembev has to give a little bit of room to Scarali as he finds his way through into second, and now Scarali's going to be the one on the defensive here. Slipstream picked up by the 11 of Robert Ridgway, 3 wide on the way into the braking zone. Ridgway has his nose ahead into the corner there. Scarali and Ridgway bang wheels, and Nakatembev finds his way through on the inside. What a final lap this is in the battle for second place. Ridgway ends up getting it. Scarali still has to defend from Nakatembev, and now Colander gets right into it as well. Nicholas Colander out of nowhere. There's a factor for the podium.
I got to admit, that was absolutely incredible. If somebody wants to clip that, I would very much appreciate it. 3 wide, 2 corners, 3 corners, ladies and gentlemen, and they're still going at it. Nakatembev, I honestly feel like he's just gone muck, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed Scarali and Ridgway have absolutely pulled away now. Ozzy Milwayne, he takes the win. I'm sorry, let's go back to that battle there further back, as it's still going on, ladies and gentlemen. Ridgway there with the sneak attack. Scarali goes in the third. Nakatembev, his defensive game was on point, but he literally just got bugged. I mean, you can't steal from children, ladies and gentlemen, but we got to see a replay of that again. Christian, if you could clear that up. That was absolutely incredible racing action. Was not ready for that.
That was insane. Great action at the end. It all exploded, and that was fantastic to watch. Ultimately, it all happened long way behind Ozzy Milwayne, who brings his points total for the round up to 80. And with an 11th and an 8th, that is 26 points that's been taken for Clay Morris. I still think that that is still going to require a miracle for Milwayne to take the championship from here. But those are your results then. Nearly 10 seconds in it for the race win. But Ridgway and Scarali should be very happy with themselves. They fought hard, but ultimately got it done on Asad Nakatembev. O'Hayan, Morris and Colander finish 5th, 6th and 7th. Broomhead 8th, with Buchanan and Lobban rounding out your top 10. Buchanan obviously not having a fun time of it. Swindells and Benvalid both had problems, and Cairo Ends a lap down, ended up towing back to the pits partway through that second race. All right. I think that's going to round things off for the first 2/3 of tonight's action. But now, Zippy, we're going to get into that feature with 80 points up for grabs. And I still don't think it's going to be enough for Milwaukee to take the championship from Morris. But I gotta say, for a champion-elect, Clay Morris is not getting the results he would have wanted tonight.
Yeah, definitely not. But don't get me wrong, when you buy the track a few minutes before the race starts, I mean, what can you expect? He's doing better than I could. I had a similar idea, then I saw it as a ref. I'm like, I don't know this. I'm out. That's how that went, ladies and gentlemen. But I got to say, I want to see a replay of that free wide scenario. Like, that was, they survived. More blown away, they survived, and I kind of want to see it from Nicardo's point of view, because his defensive game has been absolutely perfect. Reese,
here we go.
I commentated last time. Your turn, sir.
Actually, I believe I commentated this one, and you just kept going, yes, oh yes, yes. Hopefully your neighbors didn't hear that, but that's amazing. Yeah, Ridgeway and Scarali. I'm amazed that they didn't take each other out right here, because you can see they are touching wheels at this point. Nicard, Bev and Colander were right there to take advantage, and Assad just put his car in exactly the right position, but he just didn't have the momentum to really keep them behind. Just insane racing between these three. And keep an eye on that silver car down in the bottom left. Nicholas Colander for Rust Racing. He saw this happening ahead of him and was immediately thinking, where can I slip myself in here and make myself a factor in this battle? You know, all three of them were slowing each other up there, but Nicardenbev and Scarali in particular. And then Colander decides, okay, the inside line is mine.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. Don't get me wrong, high risk maneuver, but it is a sheer credit to all of these drivers that it just paid off. Can we stick with this, Christian? We got time, right? Just tell me in my ear if we haven't, because this is absolutely incredible. Blown away. Fantastic. All of the yeses, ladies and gentlemen. What fantastic. I'm supposed to commentate this and I'm enjoying it too much. I'm not going to apologize for it though, because when you see action like this, what can you do? You see there, Ridgeway starting to pull away there with that number 11 car doing an absolutely fantastic job. With Scarali just going, thank you very much, behind him. Colander with the sneak attack, ladies and gentlemen. And again, Nicardo Bev, he just got mugged. I mean, poor fella. He put on a defensive game all night long and he's just got absolutely just roasted at the end of it. You see there Lima on one side, and that's Clay Morris going there on the inside. A little bit of a contact there, left front to right rear between Morris and Nicardenbev. But don't get me wrong, Nicardenbev fight there, fighting back. You see the Lima Racing car having to take the outside line. I believe that's the number 36 there, Cedric O'Hyan. You see Nicardenbev closes it off on the exit, nowhere for O'Hyan to go. Colander on the defensive as well, and they are still going at it, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic stuff.
Yeah, Colander ran a bit wide into the gravel, and I think that's what allowed Nicardenbev ultimately to move back through on him. Colander ended up finishing behind O'Hyan and Morris, so he had his hero moment, but it didn't quite work out for him. Wondering how it went in the final hairpin here. We're going to have to wait a few moments for them to actually get to that corner, but I think this is where it started, yeah. Colander just wasn't able to turn in for that flat-out kink, and it really is only flat-out if you're by yourself. So Nicardenbev on the inside had it, and that's what ultimately decided those positions. There were no further passes from there, from what I can see. Just an incredible fight, and I'm hoping that we end up getting it again in the 17-lap final race that is coming up in just about 45 seconds time, Zippy. We're going to have a pit stop in this third race as well.
Yeah, that was definitely a hint, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to say, when you get action like that, why not watch it again, ladies and gentlemen? Don't get me wrong, you guys can DVR, fair play to you. We can't do that here in the booth. Certainly, you don't want to watch us do that. But I'm honestly impressed with the sheer talent involved in that. And I've got to say, I've never driven this track. I've never been to this track. But I got to admit, I'm really enjoying it, Reese. Like, usually I'm a bit of a princess. But Jerez, you have a seal of approval so far.
I told you, mate. I told you. I love Jerez. It's a fantastic track. It's not immediately one that would jump out to you as a premier racing circuit, but you got to remember this place has a lot of history to it. It hosted the Formula One Spanish Grand Prix in the 1980s, and it has been the home of one of the marquee rounds of the MotoGP Championship for many decades, as things stand. It's a fantastic circuit, and ever since it came to iRacing, I've been a bit of a Jerez evangelist, honestly. It produces fantastic racing. It's got plenty of overtaking opportunities, and it's got just enough challenge to keep you on your toes. But it looks like we are ready to go here for the final race of the night, and there's going to be an invert for this one of the top 10. That means that we're going to have Graham Lobban starting on pole position with Zach Buchanan alongside him. Michael Broomhead starts in third alongside Nicholas Colander on the second row. Clay Morris and Cedric O'Hyan are your third row, and then we have Asad Nakadembev and Tyler Scarelli on row 4. Robert Widgway starts in ninth, and Ozzy Milwain rounds out your top 10. Then it's Swindells, Ben Belid, and ends at the end of the field. All right, Lobban, he hasn't had fantastic results tonight. He did manage to get a finish in the previous race, finishing in 10th, but we've seen the pace difference between himself and the guys starting behind him. I'm wondering if there's going to be chaos here. Lobban, and it turns out, hasn't even taken to the grid. He's actually exited the server, so that gives Zach Buchanan a clear run into turn 1, and Michael Broomhead will protect second place for the moment from Nicholas Colander as Clay Morris dips up the inside. Morris needs a podium here at the final round of the championship to try and take that crown. It's looking like we have just enough points being gotten there for Morris to take the championship from here. That's Ridgway that made contact there and almost got sent off. Nakadembev darting across the circuit as flying up the inside of Colander is Tyler Scarelli.
Well, what an absolutely fantastic start, and already we have a hard charger in the form of Asad Nakadembev and indeed Scarelli and Ozzy Milwain as well. All of these drivers up 3 positions as Richard Swindells joining on the action as well, albeit very briefly, ladies and gentlemen. No, he's still got it. Battles happening throughout. Looks like Enns and Ridgway are actually going at it a little bit further back. Yeah, they are side by side. I'm hoping, Cairo, nothing but love for you, my friend, but cold tyres, buddy, cold tyres. Keep that car on the asphalt.
Yeah, especially when you start running off the asphalt with that light blue painted tarmac there. That's very deep for, it looks like, O'Hyan. He's going to allow Ben Belid, his teammate, past, and also Ridgway, and Cairo Enns too. So some drama at the back of the field. Enns dips a wheel into the gravel as he tries to keep it up here on Ridgway. Defensive from the highest star rating driver in the field. And it looks like there's going to be no opportunity for Cairo Enns there at the end of the first lap. Zach Buchanan leading by 0.8 of a second. But as I mentioned, Zippy, we've got to remember there is a pit stop in this race. You won't be able to get home on the fuel that you start with.
Yeah, this could be a good opportunity for a couple of the drivers here. Certainly myself, fuel saving, never been too hot at that. As here we go, Cairo, ladies and gentlemen. I love how his t-shirt matches his car. I don't think it's intentional, but if it is, fair play to him. And it's not only that, it's Pit Road Productions yellow. I'm claiming it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm claiming it. Great to see Cairo here on the screen. As that says Ozzy Milwain, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about that. That's definitely Cairo Enns. I've seen him before. Wait for it. There we go. Thank you, Christian.
There we are.
Cairo Enns.
Okay, so the car that we were on was in fact not Cairo Enns initially.
Yeah, no, we do apologise for that. Good catch there, but we'll give Cairo some props for wearing Pit Road Productions colour, ladies and gentlemen, as we are indeed on board with the gentleman who's currently there in P11. He can see Ridgway just ahead of him, with the Ridgway having a quite good night as well so far, able to get a couple of positions made. But right now you can see Enns really working the wheel, and you see what I mean here about the downforce. It's a little bit misleading in some ways. You've really got to push that car in, but there is definitely an element of momentum racing here with the Formula 3.
Yeah, this is the onboard here through the most difficult corner on the circuit. You got to go all the way across the curb on the inside and keep it flat out. If you're side by side with someone through there, you do have to lift, otherwise you're not making the corner. And I think that's why we've seen so many issues for drivers at that section of the track. It's mega difficult. Well, Zach Buchanan has gotten off to a great start here. He was not able to get victory in either of the races run tonight, but starting from effective pole position in this one, he is taking advantage. Scarali, meanwhile, has got Aussie Milwayne, the current round points leader for company here, and Milwayne, of course, has been chasing Clay Morris in the championship for a while, but I think even if there's a problem for Clay Morris, he will still have enough points in hand to take the championship from here. So it's all about the race for second in the standings, and keeping an eye on our drivers' standings. Asad Nakadambev looks like he's got plenty of points to make up versus Aussie Milwayne, so it doesn't look like there's going to be any change for second in the standings either.
Yeah, definitely a couple of battles already being sorted underway, and to be honest, the way that Clay Morris started the season, fair play to him. I think he deserves that win. Like, he was unstoppable at the start. Fair play to him for sure. But here you see Robert Ridgway. He's totally chasing down the number 8 car of John Webber. Looks to make a move up on the outside. That's his teammate ahead, Richard Swindells. Now, can Swindells give him a little bit of a toe here? Are we going to see a freeway fight? We saw a fantastic one at the end of race 2. I'd like to see another one. Race, do you reckon these drivers can make it happen?
Oh, Ridgway thought about it, but there's not enough room there on the start-finish straight, and he cranks on the steering there, scrubs the fronts, and the Lima car is darting all over the racetrack at the moment. This has caught Cedric O'Hyan back up as well. Both Lima cars involved with the MGC Motorsports machine. And Ridgway, all he can do is pick his line and hope that things work out for him. Oh dear, I've just seen Cairo N's tow back to pits, so there's been another problem there for the 3-3-2. All 3 races tonight have not gone well for Cairo. Sorry, Ridgway Racing Setups is the team, my apologies. I get those 2 teams confused all the time, but Ridgway Racing Setups has Robert Ridgway, of course, and Richard Swindell, so it's Ridgway versus Lima for the moment here in the battle for 9th.
Speaking of MTC Motorsports, I just want to say congratulations actually to Andrew Hartman, who got married this week, ladies and gentlemen, so fair play to him. I'm sure they're very... Oops, that's Cedric. Sorry, buddy. That's I'm in the middle of a wedding announcement, Cedric. Come on now, you behave yourself. You're a
Cedric. Cedric was very surprised by that announcement, I think.
Come on now. Yeah, Andrew's a nice guy.
I didn't say anything about Andrew. Ridgway's coming into the pits meanwhile. He's coming in very early, early pit stop, but this could be good for him. If he's able to get out of traffic and lap consistently on his own, he might be able to gain a few free positions out of that. I think that's what's defined the racing in the F3s this season, is if you're in a battle, you're going to be slower than you would be if you were in clear air. So getting into clear air as best you can is vital for success.
Absolutely, and certainly it's kind of weird because the draft does have a bit of an effect, but you almost wonder if they aero wash a little bit as well. But generally we've seen it so far, if a driver is able to get out in front, they do tend to pull away. It's interesting, not what I would have expected there. As you see Broomhead going a little bit wide and basically giving the position away to Aussie Milwayne.
Milwayne makes it up 6 positions in the 3rd race, so he'll get that extra point for hard charger at the moment. Still not going to be enough to overcome Clay Morris, who it seems is starting to bring the gap back in on Zach Buchanan at the front of the field. Occasionally he's showing up as within a second of our leader, so you never know, there might be a big top 3 battle that emerges at the end of this race. We'll keep an eye on Milwayne for the moment here as he tries to keep Broomhead behind him. Broomhead's teammate Scarali giving chase too. And Scarali's had a very successful night thus far, had a podium in both sprints, and he'll certainly be hoping that he can do the same here in the feature.
Absolutely. I'm going to read something out in a little bit as well concerning BiS, and this is from one of our prize winners actually, but we're going to get to that a little bit later on, ladies and gentlemen, as right now the man who makes that all happen, Mr. Mike Broomhead, is currently looking to try and chase down the number 14 car of Aussie Milwayne. Right behind him, Broomhead's teammate Tyler Scarali. He's been on fire tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Very proud of him as well. I am missing his driver cam though. Tyler, you can't have a view that good and then not keep sharing it with us. Certainly, it's great seeing the ambience you have set up there. Probably one of the most peaceful and most urban driver camps as well. I just find it relaxing. It makes me think that we're watching a little bit of Suits or something, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, it is going to be two of the Britannia iSports drivers up against the number 14 of Aussie Mulwayne. As I say that, Scarelli dipping the wheel in the sand there on the exit the right-hander.
We also just saw Richard Swindells and John Benbalid make their way into the pit lane, and Swindells has the quickest pit stop so far of only 4 seconds. Ridgway has gained quite a bit of time, though, in the midst of all of that. He is about 13 seconds ahead of Swindells now, which is quite interesting indeed. We'll see what we can do to monitor pit stops from here. Here's one. Broomhead makes his way into pit lane. It can be very easy to get a cut track on your way into pit lane at Jerez as well. That hairpin you have to negotiate on the way into the pits. You can't put your wheels too far into the green concrete on the inside, otherwise you'll be hit with a brutal slow down penalty. So Broomhead and Scarelli, the Britannia iSports teammates, are playing the team game here. Scarelli with a 4.3 second stop, and the same for Michael Broomhead as well. So they'll both come out just in touch with each other. They are solo on the racetrack at the moment. The field spreads out, and now they can set themselves up for the second half of this race. We're still not quite at the halfway point yet. Just ticked over 15 minutes to go. 10.5 laps for our leader, Zach Buchanan, who is now under big pressure from Clay Morris. Morris has been putting in a fantastic set of laps here, and he is now challenging for the lead. This will be very interesting. See if Buchanan and Morris can negotiate this one cleanly. In the first half of the season, we weren't really accustomed to seeing Morris having to fight for position. He qualified on pole and just drove away from everybody in the first 2 rounds, and things started getting a little more complicated as the season went on. But now we have an out-and-out battle for the lead here, but it's just going to be interrupted by a pit stop. In comes Zach Buchanan.
I've never known Zach Buchanan to be so camera shy, ladies and gentlemen. The driver with the number 40 here just going, nope, I don't want to battle with Clay. But you know what? That might be a strategy call. Realistically, we know that if these guys fight, it can definitely slow them down. But you know what? Fair play to him. If Buchanan said, I'm in it for the long game, I can't fault him for that. I really can't. No, certainly not. Well, Buchanan gets his pit stop done in very quick fashion. Basically the same pit stop time as Broomhead, Scarelli and Ridgway, and he'll come out just behind Cedric O'Hyan, who has yet to come into the lane. Richard Swindells, meanwhile, still battling with John Benbalid here for 10th place. They are a long way behind Robert Ridgway. Looks like there actually might have been a move done between those two a bit earlier, not quite sure where. But Buchanan now has Cedric O'Hyan for company, and I think this is exactly what he didn't want, Zippy. Now he's going to be getting interruptions to the airflow across the front of his car, and that's going to be slowing him down. That might give the lead to Clay Morris conclusively. Yeah, that technique may have backfired, but as I say that, I was starting to wonder there if O'Hyan was just going to just wave him by, but no, I wouldn't have thought so. I know I certainly wouldn't. These guys are both decent dudes, but I'm not going to give away a free position. Definitely not like me, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong. If you know you've got someone behind you who is quick, it can be strategically beneficial to let the fast guy through and then just try and tail behind him, save yourself some fuel, and maybe learn a few things or two and pick up a little bit of extra pace here. But I don't think that's the technique that Cedric's going to go for. And fair play to him. I don't think I would either. On best lap, there isn't that much in it, about 6 tenths of a second there, as O'Hyan brings it down pit road.
Yeah, so that unleashes Zach Buchanan here. Nicholas Colander also coming into the pit lane. That just leaves our top 3 out there yet to come in for the final stop. And Clay Morris is now a second ahead of Nakadambev and Mulwayne. Those two only separated by about half a second at the moment. So we'll need to keep an eye on lap times here. Zach Buchanan has, of course, only put fuel in the car. His car is going to be slightly heavier, so that may affect his pace, but I think the benefit of clear air is going to outweigh that.
Yeah, definitely clear. It depends on the driver as well. Myself, I don't like being in clean air. I want somebody to battle with, and I find that's when I'm at my most potent state, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, that's pretty much the state that Aussie Milwain is going to get served, whether he likes it or not. He's got Nakata Bev right ahead of him now. These two drivers have had beef in the past, ladies and gentlemen. And by beef, I don't mean it was a juicy steak. I mean that the cow was getting tossed out of the field. Certainly, there's been some interesting battles throughout these guys over the years. Isn't that a beautiful thing to be able to say about a sim racing series? Indeed, a community such as BiS. But as I say that, Milwain brings it down pit road.
Manages to keep it clean on the way in, and now we'll monitor the pit time there for Buchanan. Don't forget that sorry, for Milwain, don't forget that Buchanan isn't too far behind, so this could make things very interesting in the fight for the top 3 positions. It just leaves Morris and Nakata Bev now yet to take their stop, and they're going to try and leave it as late as they possibly can. Buchanan will make his way past Aussie Milwain as Milwain exits the pit lane, so back into 3rd place for our driver who was coming in from the lead of the race.
Yeah, definitely some good battles going on indeed. But let me get to this point I've been thinking about for the last couple of minutes. And anybody who knows me knows that I can get distracted. Oh, look at that. Doesn't take much. But ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the Rust Racing drivers just reading this here in the real life race chat in the BiS Discord. And quick summary before I get video sorted later this week. It was awesome. The car drove similar to the sim, mostly with your feet, similar sound, similar feeling, speed. The forces and seat of your pants were fantastic to feel again. The car is super tight to fit in for a guy my size. He's about 5'11" and 200 pounds, so he's not exactly a big guy. He's stocky, but he's not, you know, you don't get like a backup sound if he walks backwards, ladies and gentlemen. He's not kind of in that bracket. Let me see here. And he's going to have a couple of big elbow bruises. Can't really believe I had the chance to drive a Formula car again, and I can't thank the 00 of Mike Broomhead and the Britain West Motorsports crew enough to let me have a crack. Ladies and gentlemen, if none of that made sense to you, I do apologize. I speak English, not necessarily Canadian, American, North American, whatever you want to call it. But that is a post written there by Mark McDonald, who was the winner of the BiS Formula 1600 Championship for full winter 2023-2024. Nope, 24-25.
Yes. Well done to Mark McDonald on taking that championship and winning that prize of a test in a real F1600 car. Of course, those are some of the prizes on offer for plenty of BiS's championships. Radical Cup Canada obviously has the prize of a test in a real Radical car. It is the same for F1600, and I think F3 and IndyCar, it's more for bragging rights than anything else, but still very hotly contested championships. Really enjoy the community that's been built here at BiS, blending the real world into the sim world. Always love to see it.
Yeah, actually BiS as well was how I ended up getting into commentary. It's fair to say I've done a couple of things with that over the past few years, even commentating in real life now as well, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're ever out here in Nova Scotia Atlantic Motorsport Park, the odds are I'm going to be there, and the odds are I'm going to be at the top of a tower, slowly being baked, ladies and gentlemen. It's fair to say that it's much more comfortable to commentate on the sim, and a lot more information available as Clay Morris brings it down pit road.
All right, so Asad Nakata is going to be the one sticking it out as long as he can. Morris was catching up to Buchanan before Buchanan got into the pit lane, and Buchanan's had the benefit of clear air for a while. Morris has been trying his best to keep the gap up the front. Buchanan just exiting the final corner now as Clay Morris exits pit lane. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a drag race between these guys. They're going to be side by side as Morris re-enters the circuit, and Clay Morris, Christian, swap over to it please. There we go. There it is. Zach Buchanan gets the move done on Clay Morris, and that was only just enough of a gap for him to do that.
Well, incredibly close action here. Don't get me wrong, these guys on different pitch strategies, and it looks like it's worked in the favor of Buchanan. Sometimes we've seen the undercut be a really potent strategy myself by logic, surely. staying out as long as possible, carrying less weight in the car would be the way to go, but it depends very much so, on the driver as well, because, some drivers, if you get the car a little bit too light, it becomes a little bit too snappy, but right now, these two guys are going at it, and look back in the background, ladies and gentlemen, that I believe is Aussie Mill Wayne looking to get in on the fight as well.
Yeah, Mill Wayne just set his race personal best, actually, a 131.9. So he'll be well involved with this for the moment. Asad Nakardambev comes into the pits as well. Now, we cannot forget that he too was mighty involved with this fight. So Buchanan and Morris are going to continue their battle here, but Nakardambev for the moment stops in the box, and we'll see the three pursuing cars get ever closer here as they come across the start-finish line. Wait for them to emerge. There they are, and Asad Nakardambev is going to come out behind all of them.
Yeah, definitely did not work in the favor of Nakardambev, but he's going to have Broomhead about 1.2 seconds behind him. But realistically, the battle, it's not real. Well, it is indeed for the lead. It's Buchanan, Morris, Mill Wayne, and Nakardambev. Now, I have a feeling Nakardambev, he will see the three drivers ahead of him, and if that young lad didn't need any more motivation, that's definitely going to put a fire behind the back wheels of that car. But definitely, it's going to be interesting. Not only that, if these guys get side by side and start fighting, Nakardambev and Broomhead are going to do nothing but get closer. It really is going to be a battle for these final 4 laps.
So Clay Morris now with the pursuit on Zach Buchanan. Both of them setting times in the 131.9s for their quickest laps of the race, and only 200ths between their respective fastest laps. They are well matched, Buchanan and Morris. And it looks like Clay, after basically using the first couple of races as a practice run, is now well familiar with the Circuito de Jerez, Angel Nieto. So let's see if there's any move to be done here at the final corner. It's so easy to understeer off when you are right behind another car through that section. It's defensive for Buchanan. Morris flings it into the corner and has to try and focus on the exit, because here comes Aussie Mill Wayne. 3 laps to go here for the BiS Formula 3 season, and it is on for the top 4.
It looks like such a good battle. Even Barney was pointing them out for us. Attaboy. As you can see here, Clay Morris currently resting in second. Mill Wayne right behind him as we go on board here, actually, with Morris. You can see Buchanan ahead of him. And they'll say Nakardambev has managed to close up that gap from about 0.6 to 0.3 of a second as well now. It's going to be getting very spicy in these last few laps. Now, here's when another part of race strategy comes into play. When is the technical time? Like, when is the best opportunity to make a pass? Sure, you can do it now, but with a long straight like this, are you then going to basically get slingshot on the next straight? There's a lot of factors in play here in the final closing stages of this race.
Yeah, that's another aspect. Oh my God! That's Buchanan that's just spun off from the lead of the race. He's out, and Clay Morris now leads.
Well, that's definitely going to be a replay job.
What? That happened out of nowhere. That really caught me off guard. How on earth did this happen for Zach Buchanan? Curva Dreisack, the hairpin at the end of the straight here, where notoriously Schumacher and Villeneuve made contact in 1997. Yeah, he just got on the power a bit too aggressively, it looks like. The car was in a slide when he got on the power, and there was nothing he could do to arrest it. That destroyed the rear end of the car, and there was nothing that Zach Buchanan could do after that. Such a heartbreaking result for Zach Buchanan. He'd driven such a good race up to that point and was on course to take victory in the final race of the season. Now Clay Morris is the next to go off from the lead of the race, running wide in turn 1. That gives it to Aussie Mill Wayne.
Well, we did say it was going to get spicy, ladies and gentlemen, and well, on this occasion, we are not a liar here. As you can see here, Mill Wayne has been able to take that top spot up 8 positions in this race, ladies and gentlemen. Either way, no matter how this ends, that's a good achievement for sure. Definitely a tough grid here at BiS, but right now, he's going to have Nakardambev as the next challenger, who's currently about 4 or 5 tenths per second behind him.
So, well, the ultimate result of this, if the race were to end now, Aussie Mill Wayne would take all 3 wins from tonight's racing, which is frankly insane. I gotta wonder if he imagined he'd be in this position at the start of race 3. Obviously, it's what you want to be getting up into the lead, but it often proves a lot harder than you think. Well, it looks like the others have done the job for Aussie Milwayne for the moment. He still has to worry about Nakata and Bevan Morris coming back at him, though. There's going to be, from what I can see, 2 laps to go in this race, unless they're going to cross the line with a bit less to go. Need to wait and see on that. About 1 minute and 32 seconds is a lap time around here, and as they cross the line, there is 1 minute and 25 seconds left on the clock. So it looks like this is going to be the final lap potentially. I didn't see the white flag being flown by Barney, so we might be going for another lap from here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all for this race to keep going, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an absolute belter of a season finale here at Jerez. A first-time visit here for BiS, one of the newer tracks here in the iRacing service. But right now, it's Nakata Bev. He's been defensive all evening, and he's put up a fantastic defensive game. I've got to say, it's probably the best defense I've ever seen him put on. But he's going against the championship leader, likely the championship winner, the number 48 there of Clay Morris. Not sure which way he's going to go. And yeah, he's gone down the inside. It's ambitious, but a fair play to him. He's managed to get it done. Nakata Bev just leaving a little bit too big of a gap there, maybe a little bit of an understeer there at the apex, and Morris absolutely slides on by, smoother than Michael Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. He moonwalked his way into second.
That was a magnificent move from Clay Morris. I loved seeing that. That's how you get a move done at the hairpin. For a second, I thought it was going to be like what happened between Villeneuve and Schumacher there, with both cars coming together in the hairpin, but they managed to avoid it, and it's nice to see. Well, now, Asad Nakata will have another couple of opportunities to fight back here. Defensive for Morris on the inside of the final corner. Oh, widens the steering out a little bit. Contact, and Nakata gets back through. Oh, he is slipping and sliding. The both of them. The recovery there from Nakata. The checkered flag is out. Milwayne wins, and Clay Morris manages to hold on versus Asad Nakata, who goes tumbling through the air. What a way to end the season for them. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Oi, oi, oi. Whew. Who needs caffeine?
Yeah, that's definitely a good rip of that in the morning. It'll get you awake. Gladly, it's sim racing, ladies and gentlemen. As you see here, the Britannia iSports moment. Britannia iSports drivers, we're going to say they're having a Kodak moment, ladies and gentlemen. Now, don't get me wrong, Kodak is in fact defunct as a company, but it's for those of you who were born probably after the year, I don't know, 2000. Forgive me there, but it's a photography brand, and to say that Kodak is big involved in film and stuff like that, to have a Kodak moment is basically to take a photo, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if it's a popular phrase, but it's one that I remember we made when I was on holiday in Scotland one day, so fair play to it. It's now a thing, ladies and gentlemen. As we see here, a little bit of a Buffy moment here, and Nicholas Calander, he's definitely a little bit of a poser when he wants to. Very proud, but very proud father actually is. Screw it, like, get out of our photo.
It's funny.
Playful banter now, children.
Yeah, I will correct you on one thing, Zippy. Kodak is not defunct; it's still around.
Wow, really?
I'm reading straight from Wikipedia here. Since emerging from bankruptcy in 2013, they've continued to provide commercial digital printing products and services, motion picture film, and still film. And ever since the pandemic, apparently they've begun production of pharmaceutical materials as well. So, Kodak is still around and evidently is still operating in their little niche.
Wait, hold up. I'm sorry, but if Kodak's going to do vaccines and makes my vision better, I might be there for that. Like that
I didn't say
photographic vision, ladies and gentlemen. Here, take these pills and a couple of shots. I'm there. I'm okay. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be the guinea pig, but
prove that the technology works. Oh man. Well, tell you what a way to end the season. Fantastic fighting, fantastic battling, and these guys are going to have a little pit party themselves on the way through the final couple of corners here. The race is over, so they're not racing for positions here. They're just having a little bit of fun right at the end. Let's get those results.
Can we see? I want to see Assad's gymnastics after this as well, if we can make that happen. But here you see here, Ozzy Mulwayne able to take the win in the final race. Ladies and gentlemen, Clay Morris 1.6 seconds behind him, having that great battle there with the 2:30 car of Assad Nakadenbev rounding out your podium. Michael Broomhead, who you can see lurking in the background, he took fourth with Tyler Scrally there in fifth. Ridgway took sixth with Nicholas Calander. Also having a little bit of a dogfight in the background there. He's there in seventh. Cedric O'Hyan with the lead of Luma Racing. He's there in eighth with John Mavelid alongside him in ninth. Richard Swindells took 10th. And then over in P11, Zach Buchanan, I feel for you, buddy. An easy mistake made. He was there with Kyra Enns in 12th and Graham Lobban not taking to the start for the final race. But ladies and gentlemen, what an absolutely fantastic way to end the season.
Yeah, and what a way to take the championship for Clay Morris with a podium in the final race. But we do have drivers waiting for an interview. I think we should give Ozzy Mulwayne his dues first. All right, let's go for Assad Nakadenbev then. No, all right, just make a decision and commit to it. Ozzy Mulwayne is joining us now in the pit box. And tell you what, Ozzy, taking the win in all three races for the final round of the season. Certainly didn't look like you were going to do it in race 3, but it all fell into your hands.
Yeah, I kind of just sat there and kept my distance and waited for them to battle a little bit and see what the outcome was. And yeah, it worked out in my favor for sure. But yeah, it was awesome winning all three races.
Yeah, it looked like you really gelled with the car here at Jerez. It's a fun track for racing, but it also demonstrated just how crucial it is to get a gap in these F3 cars if you want success.
Yeah, you just got to try and minimize the mistakes, really. It's a pretty windy track. It's not too difficult. It was nice that it was the moto layout, so it was a lot of flat out corners. But yeah, just really happy with the end of the season. Got out to a rough start, a little bit of bad luck and maybe lack of talent. So turned it around halfway through the season. It was just a little too late. So congrats to Clay on the championship.
Absolutely. You missed out on taking the title, but I think you can be certainly proud of second place in the BiS F3 season. So now your attention's probably going to be turning to what's coming up for the future. We'll obviously be having Radical Cup Canada and the F1600s coming back. The IndyCar series probably at a later date. You know, it's a great roster of championships at BiS, and we've seen you in pretty much all of them. So yeah. Now the prep begins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'll probably see me in all those series. It's pretty much the only series I participate in, really. I don't really get on too much in the summertime, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the winter series for sure.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the triple dub for tonight, Ozzy. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, just you guys in the broadcast booth and Mike for putting on an awesome series.
Brilliant stuff from the number 14 of Ozzy Mulwayne there at Jerez. Sheer domination on the results page, but the numbers don't tell the full story. Zippy, I understand that you've got Assad Nakadenbev.
I gotta say, Assad, you were an absolutely defensive machine this evening. Don't get me wrong, you had a few moments where you had to make a couple of cheeky passes, but interesting to see you switch tactics. Tell us a little bit about how that went out for you today at Jerez.
I mean, honestly, it was basically, yeah, most about defending. I knew I had a good position going into, well, after qualifying, I had a pretty decent position. I knew that I was gonna have to pass at the start, make some moves at the start. I managed to do that. It went well. All my starts really, I made moves on the start, but then after that, my long race pace wasn't the most perfect, I think. So, um, it just led to me defending a ton and having to just keep the guys behind. Oh no, wait. Oh, my camera went off.
Yeah, it's okay. Just
Sorry.
you take a second, bud. Yeah, we've got Assad. The kind of has decided he's going to go incognito mode, ladies and gentlemen. That's fine, Assad. Don't worry
Sorry
about
about
it. You're okay. We'll keep talking to you. You don't have to put your mug up on screen. It's fine, buddy. It's fine. Well, I've got to say, definitely a colourful race for you as well. Some fantastic battles as well. And tell us, Assad, while we got you in here, what have you been up to in the real life world as well? I'm going to give you a shameless moment to promote your Spec Racer Ford antics as well, just while you're in here.
Yeah, my next race will be in California. It'll be at Thunderhill. I've been preparing on Azeta Corsa, and it's been really fun. It's a really fun track. Lots of elevation changes. So, and also, one thing I'm not excited is a lot of people say that the people in NorCal are very dirty. Unlike where I raced last time. So, it'll be fun, I guess, to say the least.
Well, it looks like you're going to have a fresh set of challenges. I can give you one piece of advice. Don't go in there and tell them that I hear you race dirty. That's probably not going to score you any friends. Keep that one under your helmet aside, and we will wish you the best of luck. Certainly, I'll be keeping an eye out for some updates for you on there. But I've got to say as well, before we let you go, Assad, is there anybody you'd like to shout out for either tonight's performance here in BIS or indeed for your spec racer Ford antics as well?
I would like to thank my mom, my dad, my entire family for letting me race like this. So many opportunities that I get, and I would like to thank Flat Out Motorsports for taking me in for SRF and coaching me and letting me drive the great car that they give me. And I would like to thank my sponsors, Performance Racing School, 45 Motorsports, and no, yeah, it was just yeah. Thank you to all my supporters.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the driver of the 230 car, at least when it comes to BIS, ladies and gentlemen, Assad Nikardenbev. Look forward to seeing him, hopefully, in Formula One in a few years. Certainly, Assad, if you do, bud, I will personally buy a piece of merch with whatever team you're running with, as long as it's not Red Bull.
All right, I'll make sure of that. I don't think I want to go.
Eat it. Okay. Oh no, Assad, we got to teach you this, bud. You never. If Red Bull offers you a deal, you go for it. You've just shot yourself in the foot. So it, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right,
that
right,
as
right.
well. No, Christian Hill there saying never take the second seat. But before we go and dig ourselves a bigger grave, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only Assad Nikardenbev, driver of the 230 car.
All right. Well, that's going to bring things to a close for that segment of the interviews. Next up, Nicholas Colander joining us. And, well, Nicholas, you started fourth in all three races tonight, which is certainly, actually, no, you started 10th for race one, but fourth fourth place start for the last two races of the night. And it turns out it was a consistent round for you. You got right into the thick of the action as well.
What a blast! I mean, I guess I had decent race pace. I never really qualified that well, but tonight was a lot of fun. That first race was so much fun. It's just been a good season with you guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's been a great season, and it's been great to have you along once again, Nicholas. Obviously, we can expect you to be taking a tilt at the future BIS championships coming up as well.
Yeah, work travel's killing me, but I'm gonna do it regardless. I'm gonna get in when I can and just enjoy the ride. Want to say thanks to Mike for putting this together. You guys, solid broadcast, and to the whole crew who races consistently. It's a good community we have running here. See you guys in Radical.
All right, see you in Radical, Nicholas Colander. Thank you very much for joining us. And finally, we're going to bring our champion into the fold here, Clay Morris. Well, the preparation for the final round probably wasn't as extensive as it could have been for you, but in the end, you got enough points to keep the title in your hands. So, yeah, you must be very happy with how tonight went.
Yeah, it went okay. I got a little bit heated, but that's all right. I was mostly just trying to struggle with staying focused. I'm a little bit low on sleep, a little bit low on practice, so I was having a bit of trouble remembering which corners to brake for and which to stay flat, but it ended up finishing all three races, which was the goal.
Yeah, getting a finish and getting the points was the main goal of tonight. And, well, F3 has smiled on you. The form in the first few rounds, you were nigh unstoppable, but things started to get a little bit more complicated over the second half of the season. So, I guess there's a lot of opportunities for learning that you can take forward to other series as well.
Yeah, I just gotta keep up the practice. I got a lot busier for the second half of the season, so I just had less time to put in and get laps in. So this race and the last, I didn't do any laps until the night of, and the one before that, I only got one night. So just next season, try to get the practice in and see what I can do for the radicals and the 1600s this winter.
Well, regardless of what you would think of the way that the season went about, at the end of the day, you have the ultimate amount of points, and you have a champions trophy to some extent. You are a BIS champion, Clay Morris, and I guess now is your opportunity to thank who you need to thank for helping to make that happen.
I just got to thank Mike, as always, for putting on such a good series. And for all the guys at BIS, they kind of took me into their server this time around. So I had someone to talk to during the races, and it makes them a lot more enjoyable in that regard. So thank you to those guys.
And thank you for joining us, Clay. Congratulations on the championship title, and we'll see you again when Radicals come around.
Yeah, thank you, Reese.
All right, that is our champion, Clay Morris. And finally, Zippy, I understand you brought Tyler Scarelli in for a chat. Great results tonight.
I got to say, Tyler, tonight you were absolutely on fire, sir. Not just scoring one, but two podiums here in the final round at Jerez for the BIS Formula 3 Championship. Tell us a little bit about how you prepared for such an event.
Boys, before I get into it, big congrats to Clay. The guy's been flying all season, deserves it the most. Congrats to him. I would just practice. You know what I did, guys? I used those AI race, I don't know what you call them, the AI single race things.
Trophy AI, yeah.
Yeah, and it actually helped a lot because here there's a lot of dirty air. But yeah, it was fun. I had some pace. I didn't have as much pace in that last race, but had a good night finally. So it feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. You were on fire. You didn't give me a driver cam tonight, which I'll be honest, I was a little bit disappointed, but I will forgive you for that. Certainly one of the best backdrops in BIS, certainly the most beautiful ambient scene, and certainly I almost wondered if you'd literally done one of them, green screen jobbies.
No.
You see, me and technology's on a form tonight. But Tyler, that does indeed bring this season to an end. I've got a feeling we're going to be seeing you here in the IndyCar season next year. But how about the Radicals, and indeed, how about the 1600s? What are you really looking forward to this fall winter series with BIS?
Yeah, no cam, just because I'm kind of sick and I look disgusting, so I figured I'd spare you
Oh,
guys. I'd spare
feel
you
better.
guys that. Thank you. But yeah, look. You know what? I gained a lot of confidence this season, just in like racecraft and just overall pace. So I'm really looking forward to taking that into Radical. So I really like driving that car, along with the F1600. I like both series. I'm most excited for Radical just because fast car, usually that field's very, very big with a lot of top guys in this, and top girls, as we had last season in this series. So excited to see how I stack up against them. I'd have another gear to go to get to the top, to get to the front of the pack, but excited for it.
Well, absolutely, and indeed, we are indeed all excited to be seeing the BIS Radical Canada Cup coming back to it. But Tyler, I got to be honest, I'm surprised you're sick. Anybody who's ever seen Tyler, he's built like a brick outhouse, ladies and gentlemen. I certainly wouldn't argue with him. He is you could say a jolly giant amongst men. I think that
I
would be
love it.
a fair conclusion. The guy looks after himself, and I've got to say, power to him for doing that. Maybe we'll see some BIS workout videos. I certainly subscribe to it. But a huge congratulations for such a good evening. 2 podiums and indeed a P5 in the main feature. But Tyler, before we let you go, is there anybody else you'd like to shout out?
Shout out Mike. He does a lot of work to set these things up and race alongside. So big shout out to him for getting us all together. Shout out to you guys. I go back and I watch the broadcast. I share them with my friends, and you guys make them so exciting and just something really fun to watch. So big shout out to you guys for commentating in the booth, and just shout out to all the other gents in the series. I'm looking forward to seeing them in Radical and F1600 this winter.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't have said it better myself. Driver of the number 15 car for Britannia iSports, or actually Doppler Britannia iSports, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tyler Scarelli. Again, I do hope you feel much better soon, and we look forward to seeing you back in the fall and winter seasons with BIS.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Well, Zippy, that's going to end things off here for the BIS F3 season. Really happy with how this championship went. I've looked forward every single fortnight to making our way back to the racing here, and we got a great final round of the season as well, all things considered. Clay Morris, a deserving champion, and we can certainly carry that forward into Radical Cup Canada, F1600, and the like coming forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. We've got some good announcements here coming at BiS, but you're going to have to hold on to that. Meantime, what I'd say, I'm going to give a huge shout out to all of the drivers who have taken part this season as well. A huge shout out to obviously Mike as well. Often people don't understand just how much work it takes to run a league, and not only that, a successful league at that. I got to say, he's been doing it for a few years. Power to him, ladies and gentlemen. Power to him. Actually, Mike, you're in here. Do you want to say a few words before we peace out?
Yeah, I don't pay anybody for any of these comments, I promise. It's not a thing I do. Yeah. No, honestly, you know, if you build it, they all come, right? Like, just put out everything. You know, we just work on it, and you know, you guys have been fantastic in building every race and just putting together what is, you know, I enjoy it. It kind of reminds me of you know, watching racing all through the years as a fan, and it gives me the same feel, especially when you go to tracks like this. But yeah, it's really just down to everybody else. Like, if I was just doing this on my own and you know, racing against AI, well, it would be probably, you know, 25 years ago, like I did, you know, with with the games back then and not being online. So it brings life to it. It's you know, it's real racing. It's real racing, but with just virtual cars. So it's so much more enjoyable that we get to share it with everybody. And yeah, we're gonna have some fun in the winter time. So you know, everybody watch out for that. We'll release some things, but join the Discord and yeah, have some fun with us. It's what we look forward to every week.
Yeah, definitely one of the things that is underestimated here. That BiS is indeed, it's more than just a league, ladies and gentlemen. It's a community. I've had the pleasure, and indeed actually Mike's had the pleasure as well, of meeting and greeting a lot of these drivers. Actually, Clovis Gerard, he wasn't here tonight, but I got to meet him here at my home track as well this summer, and it's a beautiful feeling, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a warm feeling to get to meet these people, and they are indeed. It is a great community, and I want you guys to get involved. You know, have fun, enjoy yourself, and you know, maybe make a few friends along the way. But I think we are indeed going to have to wrap it up for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an absolute belter, an absolute pleasure to be here again. Where I started commentary was with BiS. Don't get me wrong, we now have our own channel, ladies and gentlemen. It's Pit Road Productions. As Sandra Carnabev's just been promoted to series director very briefly there. But a huge shout out to Reese Gardner as well, the absolute legend of Australian commentary, the man himself, the best merch man as well here on Pit Road Productions, rocking that. You can't do that, man. I'm going to burst out laughing with the yeah, you got me with the dance moves as well. Mr. Reese Gardner, ladies and gentlemen, on my he's on my right, he's on your right, and I have to point left. That doesn't make things more confusing. Christian Hill, who is indeed camera shy and indeed microphone shy. He's hiding away in the background, smashing those buttons. And again, the one and only Mr. Mike Broomhead. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching here on Pit Road Productions for the BiS Formula 3 Championship here at Jerez. We're going to be seeing you very soon for the BiS Radical Canada Cup and indeed the BiS Formula 1600 Championship. But for now, that's it from us. Have a very good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Thank you very much.